is Esther, and welcome to Yellow Endo Flower. About 2.5 years ago, I realized that I had been living with a form of lactose intolerance all my life, and I have my daughter to thank for that, because seeing the symptoms of lactose intolerance in her made me realize what I had considered normal was actually abnormal. So she breastfed exclusively for 6 months, and at about 7.5 months we introduced yogurt. That was the beginning of the drama. So we tried several brands. Some just gave her a lot of discomfort and a rash around her nose. So I already knew that the lactose levels could actually cause a reaction in her. So we found a brand with reduced lactose, and that has been working since. So at 9 months, she was a poor feeder, liked to breastfeed, and so I decided to introduce custard. And I thought, since I like custard, she would like the custard. So that was actually horrible, because on top of having the rash and the stomach pain, now she had explosive diarrhea that filled her diaper and came all the way up until her neck. I'd lift her up and wonder where to start from. So that was the end of the milk story. I was told, by 1 year, maybe her stomach will be ready to digest the milk. And so we waited. So 1 year came, and I had to find an alternative source of milk for her because I didn't really like expressing. So we tried fresh milk, and it was horrible. The diarrhea was bad. The cough that kept her up in the middle of the night was horrible, and it was just never that serious. So I had to pull away and just give her breast milk until we figured out a solution. So I tried the non-dairy types of milk, and she was old enough to tell taste and didn't really like it. So we settled on formula, and one particular brand of formula. And that has worked up until now, that we need to find an alternative again. And when she was about 8 months, I detoxed. I had added a lot of weight during my first pregnancy, and I decided to, go clean, give my liver a break from the toxins that I'd been carrying for years, and it was fantastic. So I went off wheat, I went off dairy as well, and soy. But my biggest wins were from going off dairy. I realized my body felt new. I actually felt like I'd borrowed it from someone. It was foreign. It was a good sort of feeling. And when I reintroduced to the dairy 2 weeks later, I began to see the symptoms. The symptoms that I'd noticed in my daughter Senna were actually now the things that I was more sensitive to, because I'd actually been able to experience life without the pain and life without the symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome. So introducing the milk back, I realized that if I had too much, if I had tea with milk, if the sugar and the milk were combined, then I had a problem. I knew I was going to get inflamed immediately. And the acne, my face doesn't keep secrets very well, so I just get some pimples around here. And they're very different from the pimples caused by wheat gluten intolerance. So I had to stop. And going off milk was actually liberating. I actually realized that if I take just a little, like what I can have in yogurt, then it's okay. But if I have my tea with milk, it will be horrible. I'm just signing up for days of severe bloating, pain in the stomach, and diarrhea. And just that feeling like, it's a very gassy in your stomach, and you can actually hear gargling sounds. So I stopped, and it's been liberating. I still crave things like ice cream, so I can only have it like once in a while. If I have it all the time, I just know that I'm taking myself back to the pain. In my daughter, it's made a big difference, actually, like staying off too much dairy. It's stressful because sometimes you have to make the decisions whether she can eat something or not. But as she grows, I'm seeing a bit of a difference. She can have cereal now with diluted cow milk, but only certain brands, because other brands cause a flare-up. It's a learning curve, but I am grateful that I actually realized that milk was having such a great effect on my health, that it made me experience symptoms that I thought were normal, but are actually abnormal. So it's been liberating. It's been actually life-changing, if I could put it that way. So I'd love to hear from you if you've had symptoms of lactose intolerance, how you've dealt with them. Have you had to get off milk completely, or can you just have a little? Can you incorporate milk in your cheat days? And if you have a baby with lactose intolerance, I'd love to hear what you've used instead. I think we can always learn from each other. It's amazing that not all children are the same. So my second born doesn't have the same symptoms my firstborn did, but her symptoms, Senna's symptoms, actually saved me from pain that I couldn't explain. So please drop me a comment below, share, subscribe, and I'd love to see you next week. Have a good one. Bye bye.